Welcome, one and all, whoever may be watching this, part 15 of, what is this game? Tides of Numenéra! Yeah! Alright, so I just want to quickly go back up to the government square because my dude pointed us in the direction of people who might be able to help us grow some crystals. I'm not 100% sure if I should go after McKenna, just get that done and dusted, or if I should try to juggle all things at once. With that said though, I have no idea who I need to talk to. I'm assuming maybe the council tower is where we have to go. Alright, I just checked the journal and there's like nothing there about anything to do with this, so maybe we can't get in just yet, is what I'm assuming based on all of these people standing here. This woman is dressed much like the levies who flank her, but unlike them, her expression is sober and alert. Her hair is cut short, the corner of her eyes wrinkled with cow's feet. A little swarm of mechanical drones circle around her, buzzing messages in her ears. She whispers replies in return, and every so often one of them whisks away, disappearing into the city. What is it, citizen? She pauses, eyes darting at your tattoo, then to your face. No, you're the one they call a Darn. I heard you were in the city. You sense a sudden wariness in her. It's been 10 years since your last visit. I was too young to know you then, but the drones remember. What do the drones remember about me? On cue, two of her attendant drones dip close to her ear, emitting a stream of raspy noise that might be some sort of language. You kept to your own affairs, but everywhere you went, the city held its breath. People deferred to you, even the ones with power and influence. You look the same as you do now, exactly the same. I want to know why, and if you don't mind telling me, I want to know what you're doing in Sagus now. The stories they tell me are troubling. I'll have to keep an eye on this one. I'm looking for a woman named McKenna. The White Death? Her expression goes flat, but her eyes flick to your tattoo again. I should have guessed that. If McKenna is all you want, then you should ask for her in the underbelly, yep. What's that building behind you? I've lost my memory. Okay, I mean, it doesn't look like they can help us. Unless it's in the red thicket? Oh, actually, no, it was something about the Order of Truth, wasn't it? Oh, what am I doing? Okay, so, I guess, I don't know if we can find anyone who might be able to help us. Obviously, Calestige isn't going to be talking to me anytime soon. I don't necessarily want to talk to him about the spy, but it doesn't look like... I mean, if I ask about his work... I'm not going to read this. Oh, about mechanical Numenéra? I'm trying to repair a device known as a resonance chamber. Your what? Min gasps. I thought that thing was a myth, and you're trying to repair it. Where is it? Is that what she and Salameri were working on? I'd love to see that. I'd rather not say. He says, his mouth twisting, probably wise. Anyway, do you have any piece of the machine with you? I have a shard. He handles the shard with care. Organic and crystalline. It was grown into the appropriate shape for the machine. This is definitely what Salameri was working on all those years ago with her partner. He looks at you, his brow raised, but does not say more. Reluctantly, he hands it back to you. It must be her then, but why lie? I'll ask Salameri about it later. In all honesty, I focus more on traditionally powered machines. Salameri has some experience with organic machine construction. You might ask her about it. Alright, it sounds like we're going to have to finish doing her side quest.
Yes.
So I don't think she's going to give us any info without ridding the, what is it? The lazaret, the whatever lazaret.
Let's go.
So I guess, let's see about figuring out where we need to go. I'm assuming if we need the stickers to help us,
Ready.
maybe our little construct friend here can do it. Otherwise, we're going to have issues. Seeing as I destroyed an egg sack, I don't think they'll accept my apologies. I didn't mean to do it. I want you to take me somewhere. Take me to the Cave of Last Words. Nice. I wonder how many crises we'll have to deal with in here.
Who are you?
Oh, none. Okay. This woman's skin is white, the color of alabaster or fresh ivory. Flat black eyes surrounded by sharply pointed features stare coldly at you. She wears jet black hair cut straight at the shoulders. Her clothes are functional and drab. Her cloak is fastened by a necklace of 5 canisters, each of a different shape. She turns a black device over and over in her hands.
Where did you come from? How did you know where to find me?
Her startled expression becomes a dark glower. A keen blade flickers through her fingers. You're sure it wasn't there a moment ago. Did I invite her here? No, I wouldn't have done that. He mutters, I think she and Calistige would get along just fine. Is it really that important how I found you? Yes, because I need to know how to stop it from happening again. If it means cutting some throats, it's no worse than I've done before. Like I'll do to... Wait, no, you're a cast-off. That wouldn't work. The knife disappears as quickly as it appeared. Her hand steals out and picks up that strange device again, almost of its own accord. She glances at your tattoo. How new are you? What were the circumstances of your birth? When did you happen? I was born as my body fell from an exploding moon. Ha! The Creator always finds a way to abandon us at the worst possible moment. Have you heard the stories of Tuck or Inner Fairy yet? You should. What of them? She points her chin at your companions. If you think you can overpower me with mortals, you're mistaken. Sounds just like her father. What did you say? You're trespassing in my home, you know. Coming with a cast-off makes you more suspicious, not the other way round. Trust me, we mean no harm. I don't trust you, that's the problem. But fine, she flicks her hand and the knife disappears. Disemboweling you would just be a waste of time for me anyway. She turns back to her workbench and picks up the device again. Then she spits on the floor and scuffs at it with her boot, all nervous energy. So what do you want from me? I heard you might know who can repair a device I found in the reef, something called a resonance chamber. The resonance? A glint of understanding shines in her eyes. Ah, yes, of course he would have hid it there. A crooked grin plays about the corner of her mouth and then vanishes. I know who can help you. Or did. She shakes her head. It slips away. My mind has holes in it. One of our brothers took a rusty scalpel to my thoughts, my memories. I can't. She trails off. She catches a hold of the table and it seems to anchor her. Her eyes harden.
Making a note.
No, you must do something for me. She caresses the black and jagged device, knobbed and protruding with antenna. A signal reminiscent of your tattoo is emblazoned on it. This is Tasha's Mircaster. I want you to enter his mirror and find out what you can about the Juk. I'm convinced that's the key. What's a Mircaster? Ha! Am I really the first one to say the word to you? Oh, you're in for a surprise, sweet sister. Every cast-off has one, just like every cast-off has this. She taps the tattoo on your head. No one knows what they're for. Adiris used to think they were a byproduct of the transfer process, just like us. She seems lost in thought for a moment. Then she shakes her head. Wherever they came from, they can be used like a kind of temporal viewer. You relive an event in the life of a cast-off whose mere weather it is. The event is called a mirror. Why can't you enter the mirror? Don't you think I've tried? She snarls with sudden rage, her knife in handspan from your neck. Do you think I would waste my time with a newborn, a thief who steals into my home, if there were any chance I could do this myself? Her shoulders heave up and down with each angry breath. I try, and my mind feels with static, like I'm talking to a Murden, only it slashes and stabs and burns me, and I can't. It'll only make things worse. Maybe it already has. She blinks then, confused. Why am I angry? Did you... She straightens up, flipping the knife back into her cloak. No, it'll all be right. Just find the damn jank and I'll tell you whatever you need to know. What is a Juk? You don't know? I thought it was a common instrument. No, it might not be so much anymore. One of the curses of a long life, she laughs raggedly. Fashions come and go before you even know they exist. Probably easier just to let them go or make new ones of your own, like some of the other cast-offs. Sorry, no, not sorry. You should know this. You should know about things. History. That's what life is, knowing and doing. Makina, you need to focus. Tell her what she needs. She breathes deeply. A junk is an ancient woodwind, and this one was kept in a sealed cave behind massive doors from a prior world. It had powers, but I can't remember what those powers were. If the Juk is a key, what does it unlock? Her brow furrows, confused for a moment. She curses. If I knew that, I wouldn't need your help, would I? She lets out a long sigh. He stole that memory from me, all right? If you can find it for me, it will all come back, all of it. How can I find the mirror? An almost palpable hunger fills her eyes, a yearning. Hold the Mircaster. You'll find the tug immediately. Don't resist. Empty your mind and let the tides pull you into the Mircaster. She collects herself. Then just watch him. Watch for the Juk. When you see what he's done with it, pull your mind away from Tasha's and tell me what you saw. Oh, and don't try to change anything, she says almost as if an afterthought. All right, I'll do it. She plucks Tasha's Mircaster from the table. She looks at it, at you, and back to the device. She licks her lips as if weighing her options. And then before she can hesitate any more, slaps it into your hands. It's surprisingly heavy. Do it, she says, her voice heavy. Find the junk. Bring me answers. You focus on the device, and you feel something tugging at your mind. Oh, nice. I wasn't sure if I was just going to be reading everything. Oh, everything is wrong. Tasha's body, yours now, clings like a wet cloak. The world is too bright for nighttime. Everything is too clear, distances too close, edges too sharp, memories like blood flies buzz about your head, whizzing away before you can catch them. Hard-ridden Aneen heave their flanks and huff behind you. Like you, they've gone too long without rest, and there's Makina, a much newer Makina, as drawn by a pandering portraitist. Too soft, too fresh, too pretty, all wrong. On the wastes you see the light of campfires, and in the humble village before you a bigger, brighter fire burns. It's a pyre. Inside, a body that's too large burns too slowly. Greasy coils of smoke rise into the night. Villagers circle the bonfire, wailing and shaking. The headman's rough voice continues the ritual. From exile you are released. Among the mourners some echo. You are released. He throws a handful of powder into the fire, metal salts perhaps, and a spray of shining embers rises into the night. Mostly gold, some green, some purple. From wrath you are released, they echo him. As the embers float out towards the plains and fade among the stars and campfires, you hear Makina whisper reverently, you are released. I guess for whatever reason I'll stare at the distant campfires and try to see what they are. You squint your unnatural eyes and focus until the pyre, the village, everything else fades away. At last, the blurry campfires resolve into something crisper, and you see the faint shadows of men around them, men in long coats and broad hats, painstakingly cleaning their Jesus and daggers. There are perhaps 100 of them. Makina sees you staring and grunts, "Sand Knights." From her tone, it's obvious that they're no friends of hers or yours. I guess try to remember who you are and why you're here. The memories buzz, and in the sound are flickers of meaning. This body is you, are Tash. You're a soldier under the command of someone named Paj Reckon. You're a cast-off who can use the tides to destroy memories. You were sent here from some thing, an object, but exactly what you can't recall. There's something more to it, something insistent, important, and endlessly elusive. No matter how hard you try, it becomes no clearer. I'm just going to say we need to find the junk and protect your memories. Find the what? Makina stares at you dumbfounded, and then she shakes her head. Have a little respect, Tash. This is my home. We're here to save people I've known for years. A moment later she adds, not to mention the only danger to memories around here is you, Tash. Try your tidal surge on me and I'll burn those fancy eyes right out of your skull. There's a smile on her face, like this isn't the first time Tash has teased her, or that she's promised a grisly fate in response. Alright, I guess wait until the ritual is finished. As the body burns and the mourners chant, you wait in the shadows at the edge of the village. At last the corpse is consumed, and the headman gives a final cry. To the distant dark you are released. The villagers echo him, then drift away, leaving him alone beside the smouldering pyre. Makina, with a hiss and a gesture, leads you over. He sniffs the air at the sound of your approach, and with a broad smile calls out, Kina! His eyes are large, milky marbles. He puts hands on her shoulders. You return in unpleasant times. She touches his cheek. I return because the times are unpleasant, Ning. Without another word, the three of you leave the fire and enter Ning's dark hut. Ning's home is humble and small, hardly furnished and wholly undecorated. On entering, he lowers his weary bulk into a hassock and gestures towards small cushions for you and Makina, then begins without preamble. They hung him from the tree, old Gareb, took their daggers to him, called it pruning. Blind to others' expressions, he became oblivious to his own, and he wears his pain and anger nakedly. With a grunt he continues, they sent him home by skimmer, along with the compact they'd made to the plains people. He waves at a grumbled sheet of paper on the floor. Tick, read it to me. They've promised to put an end to our menace, Kina. He shakes his head. Why? We've always paid the blood price for whatever harm we've done. You know that. They know that. Yes, Makina says softly, but the Sand Knights won't take shins. You know that. He grunts. The militia is here to help, Neng. You are who we stand for, the small, the threatened, the haunted. That's who we are too. She takes his hand. Come away. If you tell the knights you're going, they won't force a fight. They have bigger battles ahead of them, believe me. This is our place, Kina. Padge Reckon will give you a home. Trust her. Neng is silent. You don't need to trust Padge Reckon. Just trust Kina. Neng cocks his wide head. Why would I doubt her? He smiles. There was a Plains child, a beautiful boy, wandered too far into the waste and was gone. We all gave up, but Kina? He puts a hand on her shoulder. She left that night with a knife and a lamp and a rope. Just said, I'll bring him back. Hardly spoke back then, our Kina. She sighs. Made things easier. Week later she comes back, the boy riding on her shoulders, a string of Chirog heads dragging behind her. He fixes his blind eyes upon you. When she speaks, I trust. But even if Padge Reckon sets land aside for us, we can't just leave. It's not that simple. Plains people can't understand. The only time it's too late to start a new life is when you're dead. Give your people a chance to survive. Neng nods slowly. You're right, of course, even if you've got the manners of a Marsh marauder. After a minute, he turns his blind eyes to Makina. But we can't go without the Jack. The what? Makina asks. Up the hill behind the gate, the cave's been sealed for generations. Inside is the jank. It's what helps us keep our worst instincts inside. If we leave its song, he trails off, gesturing to the pyre outside. After a pause, he leans in, whispers in Makina's ear. And now, he says, you alone of the Plains people know how to open the gate. You work your way up to the terraced hillside, leaving Neng to make his case to his people. In the distance, you see the Sand Knights are on the move, riding hard towards Colm village. Neng will need to make his case to them too. When you arrive at the cave and its huge ancient gateway, Makina shakes her head. For years I've wondered about this, she says. The hill people tell a fable that the first men and women came out of here. They said the gate would only open when it was time for the people to disappear. She shrugs. One way to keep kids from poking around and disturbing the jank, I guess. Something she said stirs your mind. Your memories jingle like a wind chime. I guess dredge up the memory that's troubling me? Oh, far out. Alright, the best I can do is 70. Wish me luck. At once a glaring light shines over your mission, as painful as it is revealing. You're not here to help Padge Reckon save Colm village. You're here to help Padge destroy it. She knew the village's secret, knew about the junk. Most importantly, she knew the Sand Knights would come, knew about their compact. The plan isn't to take the villagers out of the Knights' way. In fact, it depends on causing the very battle Makina promised would be averted. When the Knights arrive, Padge will destroy the Jack, forcing the hill people into their feral state, unleashing them upon the Knights, weakening one of the malicious foes. And Padge is coming in person to see that all goes right. I mean, I guess we've got to see how it opens, so... after you... Makina shrugs and quickly disarms the dozen ancient locks that have long kept the cavern sealed. With a gasp, the gate opens, and without waiting she steps through. You follow. What you find within is no cave tunnel. In fact, there's no stone at all. Rather, it's a smooth hallway made of greenish, phosphorescent ceramic. Under its glow, you and Makina take on the look of the unburied dead. There seem to be no side passages, no chambers, merely a single path that curls ever inward, like you're in a shell of some great nautilus. From time to time, the walls are adorned with lifeless ciphers, arcane charts, even scorch marks as if from a struggle. They tell no tale for you to hear. At last you reach the tunnel's end, and there on a pedestal before you is what must be the jug. A kind of reed flute that plays an endless formless song, at once almost too faint to hear and too haunting to bear. Whether the music is caused by the breeze blowing through the tunnel or by the junk itself, it's impossible to determine. The ceramic pedestal beneath it, alone with the devices in the cave, still pulsate with living energy. That energy causes the junk to float a fraction of an inch in the air. It doesn't rest on pedestal so much as hangs above it. So, says Makina, here it is. I guess let's examine it. While the dark and the wistful wind-blown notes is what you came for, it is the pedestal that draws your attention first. Hidden within, some secret mechanism holds the junk aloft, untouched and motionless. As you ponder its workings, you notice something else, a trap. Nestled below the junk is a serrated ring, and tiny ugly bolts of energy leap from tooth to tooth, ready to surge if their field is disturbed. As for the junk, you get the sense that there is more than the music to mere wind over pipes. Not just tones beyond your hearing range, but that perhaps forces beyond sound itself, a deeper harmony that resonates in more than the tiny bones of the inner ear. I guess try to disarm the trap. 70 is the best I can do. Nice. The pedestal's machinery is alien and wholly novel to you, but that is true of nearly every cipher and artifact in the Ninth World. The key is to stop grasping for the familiar, to stop seeking an underlying logic, and simply to accept the thing before you on its own terms. With a hard eye and a delicate touch, you tame the device and disarm its trap. The junk stops floating and bangs twice, first against the pedestal, then against the ceramic floor. Makina shakes her head in mock disgust, then picks it up. We've got what we wanted, she says and gestures back down the way you came. Let's go. They're waiting for you at the gate, a woman you immediately know to be Page Reckon and her bodyguard, a half-dozen tattooed cast-offs with drab armor, mismatched weapons, and the languid readiness of predators. Past them in the village below, you see the Sand Knights have arrived and are meeting with Neng and the villagers. Without warning, one of the bodyguards lowers his weapon at Makina and fires, but she's already moving and takes a glancing blow. A knife is in her hand as another clave aims a new device. Before Makina can fling her blade, she's frozen trapped in shimmering energy. Page herself aims a tiny cipher at the jank. The others watch, paying you little mind. Or I guess attack them? You rush forward knowing that you have only an instant until the killer's eyes and arms are turned on you. The instant is shorter than you expect, and it is the last you know. Pain engulfs you. Your body is flung backward into the gate, a smouldering ruin that has just enough consciousness to know that this is the end. And then it's over, and you're sloughing off Tasha's body, Tasha's mind, and all is dark. As your consciousness rises from the shadow of the mirror, something clicks in your mind. Something has changed deep inside you, but what? Makina stares at you, the shock painfully obvious on her face. What? What did you do? I remember Tash cutting me. I see the holes in my mind. I remember him forcing me to the ground, tearing out my history with his tides. But I have other memories now. They're real. Tash didn't do it. I saw him shot with an energy bolt. He was dead. He couldn't violate me, but he did try, didn't he? She holds her head in her hands, shaking. Her voice becomes thick. The two strands of memory, this is pulling me apart. She looks up at you, tears streaming down her cheeks. No, it's pulling me back together. I remember now. This hole it's almost gone. You changed reality. You changed it. She stands drying her tears with her sleeve. I don't know if you meant to do that, but you've done more than your part of the deal. You asked about the resonance chamber. I know it. Mazov's the guy you want. He can fix anything. He might have even helped design the chamber you're talking about. Your best bet is to look for him in the cast-off sanctuary. Mia Leveste. There's a cast-off sanctuary? It's a sanctum, a refuge, created by the First and our sire. It's shielded from the sorrow, supposedly, she shrugs. Our siblings like to hide there until they can't stand each other's company anymore. Personally, I don't think anywhere's safe from the sorrow, not even that place. Great, where can I find it? Word of caution. They won't believe you in Mia Leveste. They'll treat you like they treat every new cast-off, as a pawn in their games with each other. Look out for that. She walks to her table and unrolls a map of the Sagus Protectorate. You're not going to find it by walking there. The entrance is a secret known only to our kind. Here, she points to a spot on the map many kilometers to the northeast of Sagus Cliffs. The Valley of Dead Heroes. There's a hidden portal in the necropolis. Also memorize this. She writes the numbers 3431 down on a slip of paper, holds it in front of your eyes for several seconds, then crumples it in her hand. It's a code. It'll make sense when you get to the necropolis. You'll need an airship to get to the valley. The ladder over there leads up to the caravanserai. You should be able to hire a ship without too much difficulty. Thank you, Makina.
I think I'm ready to try something new.